All right, let's talk boosted extra range batteries and all the special care you have to do into them. Now, yes, there is one extra range battery, but the different firmwares out there, there might as well be multiple of them. And each one of them has its own care that you need to do from in order to help avoid it becoming a red light of death brick. Let me explain. If you did not have your battery back before boosted went under and you did not do the last firmware upgrade that they had so you can add on the boosted beams, it also was an upgrade to the battery cells to balance them and to keep them charging more evenly when you put on the charge up to 100%. If you have the 2.17, which I have a couple of them, that's the battery you need to worry about because the cells inside of them can become unbalanced and shut it right down. That's when when it becomes off balance by a certain degree, it has a safety feature that shuts it right down, and that's where you get that infamous red light of death, and your batteries are brick and you're no longer riding. So here's how to help try to avoid it. When you put your 2.17 firmware on the battery charger, and by the way, here's how you could find out what firmware you have. You can download this app right here, the RIDE app, and it'll tell you what firmware you have for the battery and the ESC. The most current ones is the 2.51 for the battery and the 2.72 for the ESC. If you have that, you're golden. If you have the 2.17, you got to take extra care. Now, the 2.17, again, is the one that came off balance. So when you're charging it, and it says 100%, as soon as it hits 100%, that's the only cell that's connected to is 100%. Doesn't mean all of them are. And that's when the off balance starts. And as you continue to do that and do that and do that, it gets to the degree of where it kicks off the safety feature, the red light of death. So to prevent that, if you have the 2.17, you put on the charger, you get the green light 100%, leave it on extra. As a matter of fact, if you've been doing this for a while, they say leave it on for 2 weeks just to make sure all the cells balance themselves out. I know, crazy, right? 2 weeks, long time. But from what I'm understanding, that 2-week number is something to remember, and I'll get into why in another minute. So for the 2.17, now I did read somewhere out there that there's a company out there that can help you update that firmware from the 2.17 to the 2.51. I don't know how true it is, so I don't want to recommend it. I just seen something out there. Do your own homework and look into it. But if it can, that's great. I hope there is a company that could do that, because that would save a lot of the batteries out there. Now, if you do get the red light of death, you're not exactly dead in the water per se. There is an amnesia chip out there, and you can look it up online and how to install this yourself and balance it yourself, test it yourself. But if you don't know what you're doing, I wouldn't recommend opening these up. They're highly dangerous. They're lithium battery. Let a professional do it. And one that I feel confident recommended is eBoard stuff. Alex and team out there, they modify the batteries, they install the amnesia chip, and if your battery's savable, they get it back up to the 100%. They install the chip so if it ever gets off balance again, you can reset it, and then you're on your way. You never have to worry about that battery going fully dead on you again. So again, all that's if you have the 2.17. Now, if you upgraded to the 2.51 or bought one with the 2.51, you're golden. Per se, let me explain. They can still get off balance, but it won't shut down. You have to leave it on for an excessive amount of time to charge. My two batteries that I upgraded to the 2.51, one worked perfectly fine after, the other one went crazy on me. I'm riding, and all of a sudden, the remote starts, yelling and squealing. The battery drops down from 50% to 5%, and now I'm stuck walking the rest of the way home. I get it home, I go to charge it back up, and it goes up to 78%. Okay, so this one is the 2.17 firmware, so it's green light. I'm gonna let it go for a little bit longer. And here's a 2.51 that's stuck at 78%. We started the continued charging yesterday around 1 o'clock, and it could take up to 2 weeks. But the green light's flashing, so it's doing something, I'm assuming. Working itself out. Well, that's funny. Through the camera on the iPhone, that third light looks a little yellowy. Now that doesn't mean my battery is dead, or it doesn't mean it only goes up to that way for good. I have it currently plugged into the wall. It's only been plugged in now for about, we're gonna go on 2 days in about an hour. And it could take up to 2 weeks, there's that 2 weeks again, to get all those cells balanced back up and to get that battery charged up, all the cells to 100%. So I'll drop a comment to let you know how long mine took to get from 78% to 100%. But as of right now, it's been 2 days and it really hasn't budged, but I don't expect it to right now. That's a short period of time. Although there was some comments that I read online saying that usually, in most cases, only takes up to a few days. But I also read one that took up to 3 weeks, so I don't know. I guess the general rule of thumb is 2 weeks, but it could be sooner. So if you have the 2.51, you are in golden shape. You are, as a matter of fact, I've seen some of those batteries for sale for twice the amount that they're worth, but hey, you know, if you got a booster board and you want to keep it going, you want the 2.51 if possible, then you don't have to, you know, as many battery worries as some others might have. Now I have 4 working batteries, 2 2.17s and 2 2.51s that I need to take extra care of the other ones. But I'm feeling pretty good. At least I got 2 with the 2.51. It's so nice out today. I took both my boards, just trying to get as much riding as I can. God, I'm so happy it's nice out again. I don't mind riding in the cold. It's that snow and the ice and the destroyed bike pads that just kind of, they do me in. All right, I'm at a turnaround point. All right, so just to try to summarize this and keep it nice and neat and clean. First, find out what firmware you have. Download the RIDE app and you can see what firmware you have, because unfortunately the boosted app will not connect to a server anymore and let you know, or no, let you upgrade the firmware. Find out what you have and now take that extra care to put into it. If you have the 2.17, I'm not saying panic just yet, but you're gonna have to do some extra steps just to make sure. Plug it into the charger. As you let it charge up, hits 100%, just keep going. Let it go for as long as you can if you're not in a rush to go out for a ride. Or if you are, have a time period, put it on even sooner so you can let it go some extra time, because you don't want to continue to add up on to that unbalanceness. You want to try to get those balance in order. And if you have the time, plug it into the wall extra. I would suggest, or you know, just a rule of thumb in my opinion, charge it when you could be around it. If you could take it with you, say at work, if you have that option, not everybody has that, you know, let it charge, or if not, charge it for 8 to 10 hours at a time when you're home after work, and then, you know, let it build up to that point. If you have the 2.51 and you're going up to 100%, well then you're good, you're all set. But if it went through the same thing that I went through, where squealing and wheeling, and you're not up to 100%, it will only charge to a certain point, 44, 50 or whatever, someone up to like 99, well then throw it on the charger, leave it running until it gets up to that 100%, and then you're golden again. So it's just some extra care into this process until you can get it all back up to being balanced. I guess these boosted board batteries, they're a little trick to getting balanced. Now, again, if you do have the red letter death, you're not necessarily dead in the water. Look up installers, or if you feel confident enough to do it yourself, there are options out there to do it yourself. But one option that I feel comfortable recommending is eBoard stuff with Alex and the team out there in California. They charge $250. The turnaround time was, I think last time I checked, was like a week from when they receive it and get started on it. But you just got to keep in mind that these extra range batteries, they have to travel by ground. They're not going to get thrown onto a plane. So what are you going to do? This is, if you want to keep the booster board going, this is one of those proprietary items you got to be careful of. Just like the last video with the motors, the batteries are another thing. But I already invested so much money into these boards, as so many others did, that it's worth going this extra step to make sure that these boards are still running until I can't ride them anymore, and then I'll consider buying a new one. Matter of fact, I'm still so confident in these boards that if somebody was to ask me about buying one today, I'd still recommend buying one. Boosted USA is selling some brand new ones in the box. Just know what you get when you go into it. Take care of it, because most likely you're going to get one with a 2.17, and just go from there. Okay, so I have a little bit of this battery left. I'm gonna finish off this ride, and then call it a day. So if you have any questions about anything I went over, hit me up below. I'll try to answer as many as possible. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, and then as usual, if you want to see more, subscribe. I'll catch you next time. Later.